As we've seen, the fillRect method draws a filled-in rectangle. That's fine if that's what you want, but sometimes you might want to draw just the outline, as if you were using a pen or pencil. To draw just the outline of a rectangle, we use the stroke-rect method. The word stroke is another word for outline. For example, running this code should draw the outline of small rectangle, as shown in figure 13-4. Var canvas equals document dot get element viewed canvas var ctx equals canvas dot get context 2d ctx dot stroke rect 10 100 20 figure 13-4 u sync stroke rect to draw the outline of a rectangle. The stroke rect method takes the same arguments as fill rect. First the x and y coordinates of the top left corner, followed by the width and height of the rectangle, I. In this example, we see that a rectangle is drawn starting at 10 pixels from the top left of the canvas, and it is 100 pixels wide by 20 pixels tall. Use the stroke style property to change the color of the rectangle's outline. T. O. Change the thickness of the line. Use the line width property. F. For example, var canvas equals document dot get element viewed canvas var ctx equals canvas dot get context 2d ctx dot stroke style equals deep pink ctx dot line width equals 4 ctx dot stroke rect 10 100 20. Here, we set the color of the line to deep pink and the width of the line to 4 pixels edit. F. Figure 135 shows the resulting rectangle. Figure 13-5. A deep pink rectangle with a 4 pixel wide outline. Lines on the canvas are called paths. To draw a path with the canvas, you use x and y coordinates to set where each line should begin and end. By using a careful combination of starting and stopping coordinates, you can draw specific shapes on the canvas. For example, here's how you might draw the turquoise X shown in figure 13-6. Var canvas equals document.getElement viewed canvas var ctx equals canvas.getContext 2d ctx.strokeStyle equals turquoise ctx.linewidth equals 4 ctx.beginPath ctx.move to 10 ctx.line to 60 ctx.move to 60 10 ctx.line to 10 60 ctx.stroke figure 13-6 a turquoise X drawn with move to and line to. At end we set the color and width of the line. And we call the begin path method on the drawing context saved as ctx. To tell the canvas that we want to start drawing a new path, a t we call the move to method with two arguments x and y coordinates. C. Calling move to picks up our virtual JavaScript pen off the canvas paper and moves it to those coordinates without drawing a line. To start drawing a line, we call the line_to method with x and y coordinates, which places the virtual pen back on the canvas and traces a path to these new coordinates. H. Ere, we draw a line from the point 10 to the point 60, a diagonal line from the top left of the canvas to the bottom right, forming the first line of the X. Drawn anything. So we call the stroke method, which finally makes the lines appear on the screen. Try it out. Try drawing this happy stick man using the begin path, move to, line to, and stroke methods. You can use the stroke rect method for the head. The head is a 20 pixel by 20 pixel square, and the line width is 4 pixels. So far we've looked at stroke rect for drawing rectangle outlines, fill rect for filling rectangles with color, and stroke for outlining a path. The equivalent of fill rect for paths is called fill. To fill a closed path with color instead of just drawing an outline, you can use the fill method instead of stroke. For example, you could use this code to draw the simple sky blue house shown in figure 13-7. Var canvas equals document dot get element viewed canvas var ctx equals canvas dot get context 2d ctx dot fill style equals sky blue ctx dot begin path ctx dot move to 100 100 ctx dot line to 100 60 ctx dot line to 130 30 ctx dot line to 160 60 ctx dot line to 160 100 ctx dot line to 100 100 ctx dot fill figure 13-7 a sky blue house drawn with a path and filled with the fill method. Here's how this code works. After setting our drawing color to sky blue, we begin our path with begin path and then move to our starting point at 100 100 using move to n ext. We call line to 5 times for each corner of the house, using 5 sets of coordinates t. He final call to line to completes the path by going back to the starting point at 100 100. Figure 13-8 shows the same house, but with each coordinate labeled. Figure 13-8. The house from figure 13-7 with coordinates labeled. Finally, we call the fill method, which fills our path with the chosen fill color, sky blue. In addition to drawing straight lines on the canvas, you can use the arc method to draw arcs and circles. To draw a circle, you set the circle's center coordinates and radius, the distance between the circle's center and outer edge, and tell JavaScript how much of the circle to draw by providing a starting angle and ending angle as arguments. You can draw a full circle, or just a portion of a circle to create an arc. The starting and ending angles are measured in radians. When measured in radians, a full circle starts at 0 at the right side of the circle and goes up to pi times 2 radians. So to draw a full circle, you tell R to draw from 0 radians to pi times 2 radians. Figure 13-9 shows a circle labeled with radians and their equivalent in degrees. T. He values 360 degrees and pi times 2 radians both mean a full circle. Figure 13-9. J. Degrees and radians, starting from the right side of the circle and moving clockwise. For example, the following code will create a quarter circle, a half circle, and a full circle, as shown in figure 13-10. CTX. Dot line width equals 2. CTX dot stroke style equals green. CTX dot begin path CTX dot arc 50 50 20 0 math dot pi slash 2 false. CTX dot stroke CTX dot begin path CTX dot arc 100 50 20 0 math dot pi false. ctx.stroke, ctx.begin path, ctx.arc 150, 50, 20, 0, math. .pi. 2, false. ctx.stroke, begin path, arc. We set the center of the circle at the point 50, 50, and the radius to 20 pixels. The starting angle is 0, which draws the arc starting from the right of the circle, and the ending angle is math.pi/2. Math.pi is how JavaScript refers to the number pi. Because a full circle is pi times 2 radians, pi radians means a half circle, and pi divided by 2 radians, which we're using for this first arc, gives us a quarter circle. Figure 13 to 11 shows the start and end angles. Figure 13 to 11. Th. E start angle 0 radians, or 0 degrees, and end angle pi divided by 2 radians, or 90 degrees of the quarter circle. We pass false for the final argument, which tells arc to draw in a clockwise direction. If you want to draw in a counterclockwise direction, pass true for this final argument. Of the first arc, which was at 50, 50, the radius is again 20 pixels. We also start at 0 radians again, but this time we end at math.pi. Drawing a half circle. Figure 13 to 12 shows the start and end angles. Figure 13 to 12. The start angle 0 radians, or 0 degrees, and end angle pi radians, or 180 degrees of the half circle. The arc at 0 radians and ended at math.pi 2 radians, drawing a full circle. Figure 13 to 13 shows the start and end angles. Figure 13 to 13. The start angle 0 radians, or 0 degrees, and end angle pi times 2 radians, or 360 degrees of the full circle. If you just want to draw circles, the arc method is a bit complicated. For circles, you're always going to want to start the arc at 0 and end at pi times 2, and the direction clockwise or counterclockwise doesn't matter. Also, to actually draw the circle, you always need to call ctx.beginPath and ctx.stroke before and after calling the arc method. We can make a function to draw circles that lets us ignore those details so that we have to supply only the x, y, and radius arguments. Let's do that now. Bar circle equals function x, y, radius, ctx.beginPath, ctx.arcs, y, radius, 0, math.pi. 2, false. ctx.stroke. As with the arc method, inside this function the first thing we have to do is call ctx.beginPath to tell the canvas we want to draw a path. Then, we call ctx.arc, passing the x, y, and radius variables from the function arguments. As before, we use 0 for the start angle, math.pi 2 for the end angle, and false to draw the circle clockwise. Now that we have this function, we can draw lots of circles simply by filling in the center coordinates and radius as arguments. For example, this code would draw some colorful concentric circles. ctx.linewidth equals 4. ctx.strokestyle equals red. Circle 100, 100, 10. ctx.strokestyle equals orange. Circle 100, 100, 20. ctx.strokestyle equals yellow. Circle 100, 100, 30. ctx.strokestyle equals green. Circle 100, 100, 40. ctx.strokestyle equals blue. Circle 100, 100, 50. CTX.stroke style equals purple. Circle 100, 100, 60. You can see what this should look like in figure 13 to 14. F. First, we set the line width to a thick 4 pixels. Then we set the stroke style to red. And use the circle function to draw a circle at the coordinates 100, 100, with a radius of 10 pixels. T. This is the red center ring. Purple. Try it out. How would you modify our circle function to make it fill the circle instead of outline it? Add a fourth argument, a boolean, that says whether the circle should be filled or outlined. Passing true indicates that you want the circle to be filled. You can call the argument fillCircle. Using your modified function, draw this snowman, using a mix of outlined and filled circles. In this chapter, you learned about a new HTML element called canvas. Using the canvas drawing context, we can easily draw rectangles, lines, and circles, with full control over their location, line width, color, and so on. In the next chapter, we'll learn how to animate our drawings, using some of the techniques we learned in chapter 9. Try these challenges to practice drawing to the canvas. 1A snowman drawing function. Building on your code for drawing a snowman figure 13 to 14, write a function that draws a snowman at a specified location, so that calling this draw snowman 50, 50 would draw a snowman at the point 50, 50. To drawing an array of points, write a function that will take an array of points like this. Var points equals 50, 50, 50, 100, 100, 100, 100, 50, 50, 50. Draw points, points. And draw a line connecting the points. In this example, the function would draw a line from 50, 50 to 50, 100 to 100, 100 to 100, 50, and back to 50, 50. Now use this function to draw the following points. Var mystery points equals 50, 50, 50, 100, 25, 120. 100, 50, 70, 90, 100, 90, 70, 120. Draw points, mystery points. Hint: you can use points 0, 0 to get the first x coordinate and points 0, 1 to get the first y coordinate. Repainting with your mouse using jQuery in the mouse move event. Draw a filled circle with a radius of 3 pixels at the mouse position whenever you move your mouse over the canvas. Because this event is triggered by every tiny movement of the mouse, these circles will join into a line as you move the mouse over the canvas. Hint: refer to chapter 10 for a reminder of how to respond to mouse move events. For drawing the man in Hangman in chapter 7, we created our own version of the game Hangman. Now you can make it closer to the real game by drawing part of a stick man every time the player gets a letter wrong. And keep track of the number of times the player has guessed incorrectly. Write a function that takes this number as an argument and draws a different part of the body depending on the number passed in. Creating canvas animation.